Hi, and thanks for joining me on another Glastonbury Gabriel video. Today you find me in Clisshole, which is just outside Glastonbury, south of Weir Hill, and it's a weir. And it's the point at which Glastonbury's Millstream leaves the River Brue, which I'm stood next to on my right here. The Millstream originally was built in the 12th century and has many notable buildings on it and travels through what was Glastonbury's industrial area. So I'm going to follow the Millstream from here where it leaves the Brue to where it rejoins the Brue out on the road back to Mere. So thank you for joining me. Let's start the walk. So where am I today? Clisshole Weir, where the Millstream splits from the River Brue, is shown here by the red X. The blue line shows the course of the Millstream that we'll be following during this video. The red line shows the current day course of the River Brue further to the west. The green X shows the position of Northload Mill, and the yellow X shows the site of Beckerley Mill. And the town of Glastonbury can clearly be seen just to the east of our walk. The weir here at Clisshole is a popular spot with locals who like to come down here and dip in the water on a warm day, which is what today is. And this is the River Brue flowing off to the west of Glastonbury now. We'll rejoin that later. As can be seen here, the River Brue at this point is heavily man-made. It's straight as an arrow, runs across the fields. It arrives at this weir, does a quick left and a quick right and flows off towards the west of town. But it's this point here that we're very interested in. This is where the Millstream comes off. I'm stood on a land bridge over it where the sluices are controlling it. But basically this is the start point. And look over here, beyond that tree, you'll see it carrying on where it heads off towards Northover, and that's where we're going to go now. So now you can see behind me the actual start of the Millstream here, and then it travels off that way towards Glastonbury. That's the southern slope of Weir Hill you can see in front of you there. And these are the 12th century earthworks through which the Millstream flows at this point. So we've reached the first bridge since leaving the source of the Millstream back at Clisshole. This is the bridge that carries Roman Road towards the A39, would have been an original road out of Glastonbury. So here we have the war memorial, which was set up to commemorate the dead from the two factories behind me. They were the largest employers in town at the time, and obviously many people lost their lives in that great conflict. Every year, after the main memorial service up at the cenotaph in town, a delegation comes here and a second wreath laying takes place. So I'm moving on now, and I'm crossing the normally busy A39. At the moment it's rather quiet. There is a second small bridge here before the A39 bridge, which carries what used to be the original exit from Roman Way. It now runs over there. And then the main bridge over the A39 is that one down there. So that's three bridges in very quick succession there. So as I say, I'm now crossing the A39, and I have now arrived at Northover Mill. Built circa 1517 by Abbot Beer of Glastonbury Abbey, this fulling mill had an annual turnover of £10, of which 10 shillings went to support the poor women in the Abbot's Hospital at the Abbey in Glastonbury. While filming, I was lucky enough to meet the tenant, who very kindly invited me in to inspect the wheel room. These steps discovered in the shed at the back of the mill led to the stream below the wheel room, giving access for wheel maintenance. So that was Northover Mill. I'm now proceeding along in towards Beckerley itself along the road, and we can start seeing the industrial buildings of what is now the red brick building to our right, and we can see what is now Briders Yard to my left. Here you can clearly see the line of the Millstream as it hugs the red brick building turning towards the north. This area is known as Beckerley Island. Archaeological evidence suggests that this has been an industrial area for Glastonbury since before medieval times. A mill and fish weir on the Brew are mentioned in the Glastonbury Chartulary as already old in 1193. It is also thought that ironworking took place on the site between the 10th and 12th centuries. These 19th century industrial complexes of the Moorland and Bailey companies are therefore situated on an industrial site of some antiquity. Coming up on the right now is what's known locally as the Zigzag building. Originally known when built in 1934-1935 as the Bauhaus, this is the earliest example of Bauhaus architecture in the UK. The building became derelict in the late 80s, early 90s like the rest of the site, and has now been taken over and is used as a community centre. Designed by Glastonbury architect William Ailes, the building has 23,000 square feet across 3 floors. They manufactured those sheepskin slippers here. All those pieces of glass had to be replaced as well, every single one of them. So we're continuing along now towards Beckerley Mill site, which is in the distance at the end of that road. As you can see, the Millstream here is straight as an arrow again. We are now at the site of Beckerley Mill. This was originally the site of the water-driven mill linked with the abbey. In 1815 it became the Bailey Flour Mill, but by 1853 they had started tanning and producing sheepskin rugs here. By the late 1800s, Clark's, Bailey's and Moorlands were all operating on the site. Here we see the leather cutting shop around 1900. Notice the young apprentices. At their height, the 3 firms employed over 5,000 people. Looking at this view here of the now derelict buildings, you would be forgiven for thinking I'm in a northern mill town and not here in deepest rural Somerset. Clark's were not the only shoemakers in town. Here is a Bailey's national newspaper advert from 1949. Bailey's were once famous for their boxing gloves. These are the pair made for Floyd Patterson, world champion. And in the famous 1963 bout between Henry Cooper and Mohamed Ali, both pugilists were wearing Bailey's boxing gloves. Having now left the Bailey Mill building behind us, things start to get a bit greener again. Having now left the Bailey Mill building behind us, things start to get a bit greener again. I'm walking towards the centre of town now, and on the right and on the left are workers' cottages built by the tanning factories behind us to house some of the workers. Very solidly built red brick on this side and local limestone built on the other side. And behind this fence in the greenery to my left lies the Millstream, still running along. Okay, so we've now rejoined the Millstream. We're a bit further along towards Glastonbury, and the river is running, or the stream is running along to our left towards town, and that is the direction we're now going to walk in. So let's go. One thing Glastonbury is not short of is wonderful trees. Look at the willow. I love willows. And I am absolutely no expert when it comes to trees, so if somebody could tell me what that is in the comments, I'd be eternally grateful. I do have a book on identifying trees, but sadly it holds a door open. So as we continue to walk through the industrial estate, the stream stays on our left behind various buildings, and it has now reappeared and runs alongside the road, where it is now once again running on its original course. The River Brew was originally moved to its new course further to the west by the monks of Glastonbury Abbey. And the reason for all of this work? It was so they didn't have to pay taxes to the Bishop of Wells. Well, there's the church working together, isn't it? To your right there, you can see the site of Snow's Timber, apparently the largest wood yard in the West Country. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of Glastonbury's medieval Millstream. Please click that subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when I release my videos. And finally, smash the like button, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.